You know, the first thing I always say when someone asks me how to stay strong during no contact is this. Asterisk, you have to understand what no contact is actually for asterisk. Because if you're misinterpreting the reason you're doing it, if you think it's just about playing a game or creating silence so the other person comes running back, you've already set yourself up for unnecessary pain. No contact isn't about revenge. It's not about forcing someone to realize your worth through absence. That might be a byproduct, but it can't be the goal. The real reason for going no contact is to create space for truth. See, when we're in the emotional fog that follows a breakup, our brain becomes addicted to the person we've been with, especially if the breakup wasn't mutual. In fact, neurological studies have shown that the same areas of the brain light up during heartbreak as they do during drug withdrawal. And so, what we're really going through isn't just sadness or confusion, it's chemical. We're craving a hit of something we've been conditioned to rely on for our emotional safety. That's why people relapse. They text, they check social media, they even engineer excuses to bump into the person. But when we do that, we're not feeding clarity. We're feeding the addiction. No contact is the detox. It's the reset. It's the only way you begin to separate who asterisk you are asterisk from who asterisk you were with asterisk that person. Because make no mistake, relationships change our identity, sometimes in beautiful ways, yes, but also in ways that can cloud our judgment. We start adapting to the relationship rather than aligning with ourselves. No contact gives you the silence you need to ask, what was I tolerating that I shouldn't have? Or what part of me became dependent on their validation? These are not easy questions. But they are necessary ones, and you can't hear the answers if you're still listening for a text notification. Now, some people struggle with no contact because they think it's cruel. They think it means they're being cold or immature. Let me be really clear, boundaries are not cruelty. In fact, boundaries are the most loving thing you can do. For asterisk yourself asterisk, and often for the other person. Because as long as there's an open line of communication, it's almost impossible for either person to heal or gain a real perspective. You might still be talking, but you're not asterisk processing asterisk. You're in a loop, trying to fix something from within the same mindset that broke it in the first place. This is where philosophy offers something powerful. The Stoics, for example, talk a lot about detachment, not in the sense of not caring, but in the sense of not clinging. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." When you break contact, you stop living in the realm of fantasy. You stop reinterpreting their every message, hoping it means more than it does. You begin to accept reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. And what about love? People say, but if I love them, how can I just walk away and not speak to them? And I get that it feels counterintuitive. But love is not just about connection. It's also about asterisk discernment asterisk. Loving someone doesn't mean you abandon yourself for them. Sometimes the most loving act is to let go, not because you stopped caring, but because you started asterisk caring rightly asterisk, starting with yourself. No contact then is an act of self-respect. It's not passive, it's not silence for silence's sake, it's active separation. It's saying, I will not bargain for crumbs of attention, I will not negotiate my worth, I will sit in the discomfort of absence rather than pretend things are okay when they're not. That takes courage. That's strength, but here's the irony. The longer you stay in no contact for the asterisk right reasons asterisk, the less you need it to work as some kind of tactic. You stop waiting for the phone to buzz. You stop replaying what you could have said. You stop performing grief like it's a way to get someone back, and instead you start reconnecting with your values, with your standards, with your self-respect. That's when the shift happens. That's when healing starts to feel like progress, not punishment. So, if you're in this stage right now, if you're battling the urge to reach out or spiraling with all the what-ifs, remind yourself, no contact is not silence. It's a statement. It says, I am choosing clarity over chaos. I am choosing growth over guessing games. I am choosing myself, not out of ego, but out of necessity. And if that still feels hard, that's okay. The strongest decisions are often the loneliest at first. But trust this, silence, when chosen from strength, speaks volumes. One of the most overlooked and frankly most misunderstood aspects of going no contact is the emotional roller coaster that comes with it. People think once they've made the decision to cut communication, the hard part is over. But what catches most people off guard isn't the silence, it's the waves that come after the longing, the hope, the anger, the doubt, the sudden, inexplicable urge to reach out, even when just hours before you felt totally strong. This isn't weakness, it's not regression, it's biology, it's psychology, and it's entirely human. See, we often assume that emotional healing is linear, that if we're doing the right things, journaling, staying busy, meditating, leaning on our friends, then each day will get a little easier, a little clearer. But the truth is, healing doesn't look like a staircase, it looks more like a spiral. Some days you'll feel like you've moved on completely, other days you'll feel like you're back at square one. That disorientation, that unpredictability, that's not a sign that you're doing it wrong. That's the sign that your nervous system is recalibrating. You're literally unlearning an emotional dependency, and that's messy work. Let's break it down psychologically. In any close relationship, particularly romantic ones, we form what's called an attachment bond. This is a deep emotional tie that's rooted in our innate need for connection, comfort, and security. And when that bond is broken, your brain goes into a kind of panic. It searches for the missing piece, it replays conversations, it creates scenarios, it even distorts memory, often idealizing the past to soften the pain. This is your brain trying to create order out of chaos. It's not evidence that the relationship was perfect or meant to be. It's just your system resisting the withdrawal. Now, here's where philosophy meets psychology. The Stoics, those ancient masters of mental clarity, understood that we suffer not just because of events, but because of our expectations about those events. When you feel a wave of sadness or a surge of desire to break no contact and you respond with, "I shouldn't be feeling this," what you've just done is create a second layer of suffering. The feeling itself was already painful, but now you've added judgment on top of it. You've made yourself wrong for being human. What if instead you expected those feelings? What if you understood that missing someone is part of what it means to care? What if the emotional chaos you're experiencing is not a sign to act, but a sign to pause? You don't have to respond to every emotional impulse with behavior. That's emotional maturity. That's the difference between reacting and responding. And that brings us to an important point. Just because a feeling is loud doesn't mean it's true. Just because you feel lonely doesn't mean you're alone. Just because you feel like calling them doesn't mean you should. Feelings are data, not directives. They inform you. They don't control you. That's where your power lies, in your ability to observe what's happening inside you without letting it dictate what you do next. But let me be real, none of this is easy, especially in today's world where discomfort is something we're conditioned to avoid at all costs. We numb with social media, with distractions, with rebound relationships. We do anything we can to feel what's actually coming up, but healing demands presence. You can't outsource it. You can't shortcut it. You have to sit in it. You have to let the grief, the confusion, the nostalgia, all of it, move through you. Because if you don't, it stays inside you, it waits, and then it comes out later in the next relationship, in your self-esteem, in your inability to trust. So instead of trying to get over someone, what if your mindset was to move through the emotions fully? What if every wave was an opportunity to practice resilience, to reconnect with yourself, to remind yourself that asterisk you are allowed to miss someone and still choose not to go back asterisk? In fact, let me give you a reframe that's helped countless people. When you feel a sudden low, or when you miss them so much it hurts, instead of saying, I wish they were here, try asking, what is this moment asking me to heal? Often, missing someone is less about asterisk than asterisk and more about the parts of ourselves that feel unresolved, unloved, or abandoned. No contact doesn't just break communication with another person. It shines a spotlight on the places where we need to reconnect with ourselves. So yes, expect the waves, don't fear them, don't shame yourself for having them. Let them come, let them pass, feel them fully, but don't confuse them for the truth. Strength is not about feeling nothing, it's about not letting those feelings run the show. And when the chaos comes, and it will, remember this, emotional pain is a signal, not a sentence. You're not broken, you're becoming. Let every wave remind you, you are healing in real time. One of the biggest traps people fall into during no contact is thinking that staying strong just means asterisk, waiting it out asterisk. That if you just hold your breath long enough, keep yourself from texting long enough, time will eventually do the healing for you. But here's the truth, and it might sting a little asterisk, time doesn't heal anything by itself asterisk. It's what you do with the time that matters, and if you spend your no contact period stuck in emotional limbo, passively hoping to feel better, you risk turning that silence into stagnation. Now, I get it. When someone walks out of your life, or when you've made the choice to walk away, it can feel like a void has been left behind. Suddenly, the texts that used to fill your mornings are gone. The conversations that used to ground your evenings, silent. And if you're not careful, that emptiness starts to feel like identity loss. That's why one of the most powerful things you can do during no contact is to asterisk stay busy with purpose asterisk. And I don't mean staying busy just to distract yourself. I mean staying busy in a way that reconnects you to asterisk you asterisk. Because whether we like to admit it or not, most of us lose pieces of ourselves in relationships. We compromise, we shift routines, we blend our lives, and often we don't even realize how much we've blurred the lines until we're on our own again. That's why keeping your days full asterisk, intentionally full asterisk, is so crucial. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about realigning with the parts of yourself that may have gone dormant. The passions, the curiosities, the goals you pushed to the side while navigating a shared life with someone else. Psychologists refer to this as asterisk self-expansion theory asterisk. It's the idea that in a healthy relationship you grow through the connection, but after a breakup or during no contact, you need to consciously seek new forms of expansion. You need to create momentum in your own life again. That could mean taking up a physical challenge like training for a half marathon, not because it fixes your heartbreak, but because it forces your body and mind to focus forward. It could mean learning a skill, coding, cooking, speaking a new language, something that reminds you that you are still evolving, that your world didn't end just because a relationship did. What this does, psychologically, is it starts to create new neural pathways. You're giving your brain new rewards, new feedback loops, new routines that reinforce the idea, asterisk, I can live without them, I can even thrive, asterisk, and that's not denial, that's not pretending you don't miss them. That's choosing to build something meaningful in the space they once occupied. But I want to be clear, this isn't about staying so busy that you suppress your emotions. That's not healing, that's numbing. There's a difference between distraction and direction. If you're filling your schedule just to avoid the pain doesn't go away, it waits. It hides under the surface until something triggers it, and then it hits you harder than before. Purposeful activity, though, gives your pain somewhere to move *. It channels it, transforms it. That's why some of the greatest art, businesses, transformations have come out of heartbreak. Because someone chose to do something * with the pain, not just sit in it. And don't underestimate the role of routine in this process. When you're heartbroken, your inner world is chaotic. Your identity feels unstable. You don't know what to expect from your emotions moment to moment. But a structured day where you wake up, move your body, do focused work, connect with people who uplift you, creates * external stability * that starts to rewire your sense of control. And control, even in small doses, is an antidote to the helplessness we feel after loss. This is also where deeper philosophical reflection comes into play. Think of the ancient concept of * eudaimonia *. It's a Greek word that loosely translates to human flourishing, living in alignment with your highest self. Aristotle believed that happiness wasn't just about feeling good, it was about living with purpose, virtue, and action. That's exactly what this stage of no contact is about, using the pain not as a reason to collapse, but as a catalyst to reconnect with who you are when no one else is defining you. Because ultimately, you're not just trying to get over someone. You're trying to * become someone *, someone stronger, someone wiser, someone who no longer needs the validation they once craved, and every workout, every book read, every new habit form, it's all part of that becoming. Each small decision to invest in yourself is a declaration. * I am not defined by what I lost. I am defined by what I choose to build next. * So if you're feeling overwhelmed by the silence, if your days feel empty or slow, don't just wait for the pain to pass. Fill your time with things that remind you of your potential. Create a life so rich and full that whether or not they come back becomes irrelevant. Because the goal isn't to prove your worth to them. It's to prove your value to you *, and in the end, you'll realize something powerful. The space they left behind was never a void. It was an invitation to grow, to expand, to return to yourself. If you've ever found yourself checking their social media just to see how they're doing, or rereading old texts at 2 a.m., hoping to find a different meaning, you're not alone. These habits are human. They are driven by a deep psychological need for connection, for resolution, for closure. But here's the uncomfortable truth. These small moments of digital connection, these emotional breadcrumbs we follow, are not helping us heal. They're keeping us stuck. They're keeping a line open to the very pain we're trying to recover from. When we talk about staying strong during no contact, we can't ignore the importance of setting clear boundaries and removing emotional triggers. Because no contact isn't just about what * you don't do *, it's also about what you actively * protect yourself from *. You are guarding your mind, you are creating a safe psychological space where clarity can grow. That means quite literally unfollowing, muting, blocking, whatever it takes to limit the noise, not out of spite, not as a power play, but as an act of self-preservation. And yes, some people hesitate to take these steps. They think, if I block them, it'll look like I care too much. Or, it's immature, I should be able to handle seeing their posts. But ask yourself, why is the burden of appearing unbothered more important than your actual peace? Why do we prioritize * looking strong * over * being strong *? This is where understanding how the brain works helps. See, every time you check their Instagram or scroll through an old photo, your brain gets a little dopamine hit. It feels like connection, it feels like closeness, but what's really happening is you're reactivating the emotional circuitry tied to that person. You're not just remembering them, you're * reliving * them. You're keeping the attachment alive, and over time, that creates a kind of emotional addiction, not unlike a slot machine. You check, hoping for something, validation, regret, a sign they still care, and when you don't get it, you spiral. When you do get it, you spiral differently. Either way, your peace gets hijacked. This is why boundaries matter. They are not barriers to keep others out. They are filters to protect what comes in. Without them, you're constantly exposed to emotional triggers that reset your healing process. It's like trying to close a wound that you keep picking open every time you scroll. The healing starts when the re-injury stops, and beyond the psychological toll, there's a philosophical aspect to this too. There's something powerful about reclaiming your energy, your attention. Think about this. Every time you check up on them or stalk their stories, you're giving them your most valuable resource, your focus. You're saying, you still have control over how I feel today, and that's the exact opposite of what no contact is supposed to do, because here's the thing, attention is currency. Wherever you put it, that thing grows. You feed it, you empower it, and during no contact, your attention needs to come home. To you, not them, not their life, not their updates. Every ounce of energy you invest in monitoring someone else's life is energy you steal from your own. This also applies to mutual friends, those subtle check-ins where you ask, have you heard from them? Or you interpret someone's vague update like it's a coded message meant for you. Those are loopholes. Emotional backdoors, and they seem harmless, but they're not. They're quiet little betrayals of your own boundary. They keep you tied to the emotional drama rather than focusing on your actual healing. And I get it, it's hard. It's not just about blocking or deleting. It's about letting go of the fantasy that some piece of information is going to give you closure. Spoiler, it won't. Closure doesn't come from clarity about them. It comes from commitment to you. It's when you decide to stop negotiating with your pain and start honoring your peace. One of the most common lies we tell ourselves is, I can handle it, that we can keep just a little window open, that we're strong enough to see their posts or listen to what they're doing and not be affected. But why test yourself like that? Why make healing harder than it already is? Real strength isn't about enduring pain unnecessarily. It's about being wise enough to step away from what keeps re-injuring you. Think of it like this. If you broke your leg, you wouldn't keep testing your ability to walk by taking a jog every morning. You'd rest, you'd protect it. You'd give it time to strengthen. Emotional recovery is no different. And if someone told you they needed that space, that time to heal, you'd probably understand. So why is it so hard to grant that same understanding to yourself? You don't owe anyone access to your mind while you're trying to rebuild it. And if that means deleting a number, muting a feed, or saying no to conversations that leave you raw, so be it. That's not cold, that's clarity. So if you want to stay strong during no contact, stop playing tug-of war with your triggers, put the rope down, turn inward. Clean your digital environment like you would your home. Get rid of what doesn't serve you, what doesn't soothe you, what doesn't align with the version of you that's moving forward. Because protecting your peace isn't about isolation. It's about elevation, and the more you honor that, the faster you rise.